Well, war with Venezuela seems inevitable at this point. Even President Trump yesterday admitted that another war is coming soon. He seemed excited about it. Meanwhile, this morning, another Venezuelan boat was just destroyed. Libs of TikTok just posted this, boasting, Trump just smoked another drug boat. Cry harder, libs. This is exactly what I voted for. Did you vote for indiscriminate killing of people in a foreign country with no proof other than what the trust me bro intel agencies are telling you? Okay. Senator Rand Paul is not buying this bullshit. He says, by the way, they don't even make fentanyl, and we're falling for it. Watch.
We have dangerous people in a lot of American cities, but we just don't go in and shoot them. I mean, we have trials, they get legal representation, and even on the high seas, it's been that way for generations. If you go off the coast of Miami, the Coast Guard will be stopping boats today, and about 25% of the boats that they stop, that they're suspicious of drugs, there won't be any drugs on board. So 25% of the time the suspicion is wrong. And that's why we don't shoot and just blow up boats off of Miami, but neither should we be blowing them up off the coast of Venezuela. Number one, there is no fentanyl made in Venezuela. Not just a little bit, there's none being made in Venezuela. These are outboard boats that in order for them to get to Miami would have to stop and refuel 20 times. They're in all likely going to Trinidad and Tobago, which is an island right off of the coast of Venezuela. So there's a lot of reasons to be worried about this. But number one is the broader principle of when can you kill people indiscriminately? When you're at war. That's why when we declare war, it's supposed to be done by Congress. It's supposed to be thoughtful. It's supposed to be debated. And we're not supposed to do it willy-nilly. And then when you have war, you just kill people in the war zone. And even then there are rules of engagement. But interdicting drugs has always been a criminal activity and a criminal anti-crime sort of activity where we don't just summarily execute people. We actually present evidence and convict them.
Colonel Douglas Macgregor joins us again here on the show to talk about this. Colonel, I know I saw you the other day saying that they're making very little drugs at all. And why aren't we focused on Colombia, Honduras, Mexico, other places in the world, far more of a threat to the United States? It sounds like, Colonel, they really are manufacturing consent for war, and all of these like conservative influencer accounts are falling for it.
Well, everything that Senator Paul said is obviously true, and since 1965 has been consistently ignored. This looks a lot like the run-up to Vietnam, only in some ways worse. There's no clear, unambiguous mission in the sense of you are going to employ military power. What is the purpose? It's not clear. Stop drug manufacturing, illicit drug trafficking, human trafficking. It's unclear what we're actually trying to do in Venezuela. Now, we do have a president in waiting, I guess, in the form of this woman, Machado, who is periodically appealing on television to people to support us, I guess. She's certainly unwilling to condemn what we're doing at sea. But the bottom line is it's not clear. We're going to go down there and punish these people for the drug business. You know, that's not a mission for the military. What happens when you go in? What is this going to look like when we're through? This looks like another Vietnam episode. Our goal is to get the army into Vietnam. That was the goal in 1965. By the way, that was the goal in 2003 in Iraq. It's to get the army into Iraq. Well, I guess the goal is now to get the U.S. Army into Venezuela. The question is, to do what? The other thing that no one is asking right now is what's the broader impact in the region? Today, President Trump made it sound as though we're going to go to war with Colombia as well. And Colombia and Ecuador are prime producers of cocaine, heroin, and these other things. We know that. But the bottom line does going down to this part of the world, is this going to solve our drug problem inside the United States? And what are the repercussions? What are the drug cartels going to do in Mexico, which is an organized crime state? Aren't they going to be allied with the Venezuelans and the people in Colombia? What's the rest of Latin America likely to do? I mean, we're not very popular in Latin America anyway. And wherever we go, we're never usually liked or welcomed. We're going to go in there and kill a lot of people, and we're going to become a rallying point for everybody in Latin America that wants to kill Americans. I just don't see any point to it. But perhaps President Trump thinks that this is payback for Venezuela's role in the software, Dominion software or something during his failed reelection in 2020? I don't know. But I don't see any tangible, concrete, strategic interest that justifies war with Venezuela or anybody else down there. I think we should have 50, 60,000 troops on the border with Mexico. That's for damn sure. And we should get control of the thing inside the United States. I would have much harsher penalties for drug and human trafficking in the United States. That would help us enormously, but not what we're doing in Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, well, this is just my opinion, but it feels like many people are falling for this idea that all of the drugs in the United States are coming from Venezuela, and therefore we need to go there and we need to invade this country, which is just not true at all. When it really is giving cover to all the massive amounts of natural resources that Venezuela has. It's oil and gold and emeralds and everything else that's sitting inside that country that we would love to have our hands on. They see the relationship that Venezuela is making with China. So to me, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, this seems like it's all about their natural resources, and we would love to get our grubby little hands on it.
Well, I'm sure you and Natalie listened to President Trump explain to everyone that he had, in fact, received an offer from Maduro in Venezuela. And Maduro, apparently, in his words, had offered him everything. In other words, a stake in the oil and gas industries. Effectively, Trump insisted pretty much anything that President Trump wanted. Well, why not take the deal? What's wrong with that? Do you want to administer Venezuela? 27 million people, a place the size of Germany and France combined. This is a disaster waiting to happen. You want to go down there and administer the place, replace the police, the military? What are you, crazy? This is the dumbest idea since 1965. This makes Iraq look like a cakewalk.
You know, I interviewed, Colonel, I'll get you out of here on this. I interviewed Jordan Godreau a few weeks ago here on the show. Pretty eye-opening interview. He was really hung out to dry by the Trump administration. Mike Pence specifically, Mike Pompeo specifically. He was brought into the White House, given the task of leading a regime change during the first Trump administration. The CIA intervened, and many of his men died on the ground in Venezuela when the CIA stepped in and scuttled that project. So you had the Trump administration basically pushing for a regime change during the first Trump administration. CIA stepped in to stop it. Anyway, what do you make of that and the CIA's involvement here?
Well, I think in President Trump's mind, he's determined to avoid a Bay of Pigs scenario. If you go back and look at the operation into Cuba in 1962, 63, the efforts to assassinate Castro and then land these people in the Bay of Pigs, it all failed because the U.S. military power was inadequate and would not engage. I think in his mind, he is saying, this is going to work because I'm going to commit enough military power to make it successful. Well, Cuba is relatively small and minuscule compared to Venezuela. This is a huge place. It has 1,380 miles of border with Colombia, 1,380 miles of border with Brazil. You've got hundreds of thousands of paramilitary forces in Brazil and Colombia and probably Ecuador, all of which would eagerly crowd into Venezuela to fight us. And Venezuela is unmanageable from our standpoint. We don't have enough troops to put into the place to gain control of it. But he's not thinking in those terms. I think he's listening to people say, oh, this will be easy. These people won't fight hard. They don't like Maduro. Well, they may not like Maduro, but these people are proud of their country. They're proud of Venezuelan independence, and they will fight us. Question is, why do we want to fight them, especially if the man in charge has said, I'll do a deal with you? There's something more going on here with President Trump because normally he's very happy to take a deal, and he refused it.
Yeah, something fishy is going on here. Colonel, always great to see you. I encourage our viewers to go over visit his website, The National Conversation. Check it out, nationalconversation.org. Learn more about the Colonel and any upcoming events he had. I know you had a fantastic one in Dallas, Texas recently. big success down there. Colonel, great to see you as always. I know you got to run, so thank you for stepping in. Great to talk with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.